Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back of course once more with another last question mark challenge. Of course this weekend it is the US Grand Prix. Of course I'm actually uploading this video on race day because, well, COTA seems to like to run their sessions really late on in the evening. I'm actually recording this before qualifying has even gone ahead just yet, so gonna be interesting to see what happens tonight. Obviously qualifying, last night I'm gonna claim was interesting for the sake of this video, but of course though for this one there was no one else we could really race at other than the king of COTA. Lewis Hamilton of course has won this Grand Prix more than every other driver on the grid combined. He's won more races around here than everyone else in Formula 1 history, of course, helped by the fact that there were only ever 8 US Grand Prix held around this circuit. But even the one outing he had at Indianapolis, of course, back in 2007, he was able to fend off from his teammate Fernando Alonso. But of course, Max Verstappen comes into this weekend with a minor points advantage over Lewis Hamilton, so starting from the back of the field, it is going to be very important today that he tries to fight his way back up through the order there, tries to recover as best as possible. Of course, let me know down in the comments below where you reckon we'll finish in this one today as well. And also a massive thank you just quickly for now 22,000 subscribers as well there. Max Verstappen lines up on the pole though ahead of Valtteri Bottas in P2. Third place on the grid, of course, is going to be the other Red Bull of Sergio Perez there. Daniel Ricciardo in fourth ahead of Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc. Seventh place is Pierre Gasly ahead of Spaniard of Fernando Alonso there. The other Spaniard of Carlos Sainz in P9 with the Alpine of Ocon rounding out the top 10 there. Yuki Tsunoda and Lance Stroll ahead of Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen there. Antonio Giovinazzi, George Russell, Mick Schumacher, Nicolas Latifi, and of course Nikita Mazepin, the slowest in qualifying there, starting just ahead of Lewis Hamilton. But yeah, getting ready though for the start of this race. COTA should be an interesting track to do this sort of challenge on. Let's head down to the track then and see just what we can do today. Right, well here we are then on the grid, ready for the US Grand Prix last question mark challenge here. Quite looking forward to this one, I'll be honest. Obviously Hamilton, I think we can all agree, the king of COTA here in F1 as well. They're going to really try and short stint that first start on the medium, or the first stint even, I should say, on the medium rubber there. Then we'll go long on the softer compound later on in the Grand Prix. COTA, not the easiest track to overtake at, but I'm sure, yeah, there's going to be a lot of opportunities down in towards the back straightaway as well there. But just want to keep it clean and tidy on lap one. Again, the first corner, it's very tempting to go for a big old send. We'll see what happens. 5 red lights, though, here at the US Grand Prix. And it is going to be lights out, and away we go. Not off to a bad start there. Let me know down in the comments below where you think we'll finish in this one as well today. There's no real room to go for much in towards turn 1. Yes, there is, right around the outside. Okay, thank you very much. We'll have 4 places straight off the start. There is all Seb. What was that from Sebastian Vettel? Just completely stopped on the exit of turn 2 there and just completely turned in on me in towards turn 3. Well, we're up 5 places then off the start of the Grand Prix there. A bit of an odd one with our 4-time world champion on the grid, but we have kept it clean, we have kept it tidy there or thereabouts, and we haven't walked away with any damage as well. I think Seb has got major issues at the start of this Grand Prix looking at the mini-map here, but of course lap 1 just trying to find your own space around the circuit there. Latifi trying to have a bit of a look back up the inside there, but certainly not going to allow him to do anything like that, as again we have got now one of the fastest cars on the grid here. Antonio Giovinazzi in the Haas, certainly in the Alfa Romeo even, sorry, certainly doesn't, as up the inside of him will go, and up 6 places then on the opening lap of this Grand Prix. It has been a mighty start here in COTA, of course. Got to try and close back down the gap to Max Verstappen in the final 6 races of the year. So the gap now up to 5 points to Max there, but yeah, we need a good result this weekend. We want to try and stay in championship contention here, all over the back of Sir Lancelot as we head through the final couple of corners of lap 1. Not going to find any opportunity just yet, as of course Verstappen leads the way at the end of lap 1. Oh, just got a little bit too confident, putting the power down out of the final corner, but again, using a bit of the battery, should be able to get a run to the outside of Lance Stroll back in towards turn 1. Stroll late on the brakes, so we go even later though, around the outside. Can we have the inside for turn 2? Yes, we can. We overtook one Aston Martin there last lap, and this time around it's a lot cleaner of a move. And we're straight up to P13, closing in now on the back of George Russell here. Let's see if we can get a run down in towards the final sector here. Of course, will be our teammate next year in Formula 1, but for now we're going to go for a big send up the inside. Oh, George Russell tried to turn in on me there.
Brilliant. Nice move.
Team happy with that though, so we will take it. And that normally means on F1 it was a fairish move. But yeah, Russell, I think, tried to turn in, even though I'd already very clearly committed to it. I'm sure, yeah, our future teammate, not best pleased with that one, but shouldn't be the end of the world either. All over the back then of Esteban Ocon now as we head on to lap 4. DRS, of course, has now been enabled in this US Grand Prix. Back into this thing still feels rather loose early on in this race, but we should be able to get a run now on the Frenchman as we head down the back straightaway. Let's see what we can do. Ocon just goes a little bit defensive here. We're going to try and go nice and late on the brakes. So Ocon tries to keep the nose up the inside. We'll have the inside for the next corner. As I think that was Carlos Sainz just up the road there, pulling off a similar move to Fernando Alonso. But up to 11th now is Yuki Tsunoda in 10th place at the moment. Seems to be having a good little weekend so far for AlphaTauri. There's Gasly there, yeah, up in 7th. Trying to get a run though on Tsunoda as we head back down towards turn 1 here. We have got a little bit of overspeed on him. Let's have a look. Inside we go. Oh, come on, Yuki. We were always up the inside there and still decided to turn in. Up into the points though, nonetheless. That's the most important thing. And it looks like Alonso was already dipped out of the DRS range of Carlos Sainz in front of him, so Fernando might be a bit of a sitting duck this time round. These two have had some good battles in recent years in Formula 1, but I'm not sure this one today is going to be a particularly memorable one. There, Alonso tries to go defensive, but again, just so much overspeed on Fernando. He's again going to try and keep the nose at the inside, a bit like his teammate Esteban Ocon did. We'll give him the room. Oh, Alonso almost squeezed us out, putting up a much better fight than his young French teammate. But still, a fight, but not one that works. Sainz now looking to try and make a move on Pierre Gasly, as we've got to remember to pit at the end of this lap here. Are we going to see the Spaniard close in on the AlphaTauri? Are we going to be able to take time out of the pair of them as we head down the back straightaway? Seems like we're getting closer to the Ferrari than they are to the other Italian car in front of them, but not quite close enough for any of us to make a move this time round. See, head now down through the final sector of the lap, just really struggling through here in the dirty air there. You can see trying to put the power down and getting a lot of wheel spin and oversteer. But we are holding on to it for now there. Are we going to see any of the front runners into the pits as well? I think it might be just a little too early. Obviously everyone want to try and utilise the best of their soft compound tyre here as we head through the final couple of corners. Taking a lot of curb there. Trying to give ourselves best run into the pit lane. Almost understeering out into the pit wall. We just about get it slowed down into the pits there, and that was a pretty tidy entry, or at least a quick entry at the very least there. And on to softs we go, so we should be mighty fast between now and the end. 2.8 isn't anything to write home about. Why is the rear of the field so weirdly spread out as well there? I'm guessing Tsunoda had to pit for some reason, and of course the Haas cars are just very slow.
These tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
But anyway, back out onto the racetrack in P15. Raikkonen 4 seconds up the road. Hopefully we won't... Well, in many ways I want to close up to him before he pits. I'm just hoping he pits this lap. I haven't had enough time to close up. I just don't want to be stuck in the dirty air, was the point I was getting at. Starting to see a few of the front runners into the pit lane then, but weirdly enough, no, Verstappen and Bottas have both stayed out here. I'm really hoping Kimi opts to dive into the pits as well, as we're taking a lot of time out of the fin. And no, he does not. Kimi Raikkonen stays out for another lap, of course, the winner here in 2018. But look at that, round the outside of Kimi Raikkonen through the final corner. You don't often see overtakes like that. We've also, looks like we got the jump on Gasly through that lap as well there. And now we're all over the back of Charles Leclerc. So we have really picked up the momentum over the last couple of laps here, all over the back of the other Ferrari now, as Sainz, of course, still out on the race circuit. But let's just see what we can do on some slightly older, but still should be quicker rubber. Definitely applying some pressure to Charles Leclerc. So we get all over the gearbox through the hairpin. Charles struggling to put the power down like he'd wanted to there. Around the outside we go, and we're basically past him before we even got into the DRS zone. See you later, Charles Leclerc.
Great pass.
Team happy with that one, and up another place in this race. Lando Norris now not far at the road as Perez 6 seconds up. Could we still get a podium by the end of this one? This car is incredibly predictable at high speeds. Definitely those struggles a bit more, and is a bit more of a handful in the lower speed stuff. Where are we going to re-emerge though in this Grand Prix? We're going to be ahead of Daniel Ricciardo here, and we might now be ahead of Lando Norris as well, as up the inside in towards turn 1. Well, up into 5th place now as Stroll, for some reason, hanging out there yet another lap. in the Grand Prix. At least it means, yeah, these soft tyres should be able to go the distance in this race. But he's really holding up Checo Perez, so we need to push. And there comes Stroll into the pits at the end of lap 9. So Perez now just 2.5 up the road. Let's see what the gap to our teammate is. Bottas still 6 seconds clear. So we're going to have to climb an absolute mountain to get up to him. But Perez is definitely catchable by the end of this race. Well, we have now got DRS on Checo here as we start lap 11. Are we going to be able to do anything? I don't think this time round. We are certainly closing in on the Red Bull man here. Struggling a bit for pace. Must have taken the most out of his...
fuel remaining.
Yeah, must have taken most of the good life out of those mediums stuck behind Lance Stroll. And there we go. He is definitely feeling the pressure here. Red Bull need him to try and keep me at bay. But I'm not sure there's going to be much he can do. As I thought about having a look at the inside there. I thought better of it. Sometimes it's nice just to admire that white Red Bull as well at this stage of the day. But yeah, really want to try and get past Sergio as soon as possible. Can we get a run out of the final corner? We've gone pretty well there. We're going to use a lot of battery as we head back down towards cell 1 there. Sergio tries to go defensive, puts us all the way to the wall. But we do get to the inside of the Red Bull. And there was nothing he could do in that situation. A championship-defining move, perhaps. And we do now move into P3 of the Grand Prix. And I'm sure if this was real life, we'd be hearing a Valtteri, it's James at this time. On to the final lap then here at Kota.
Final lap of the race.
Thanks for just confirming that for me, Jeff. I didn't know I couldn't count to 14, but okay. Yeah, it looks like it is going to be another Max Verstappen dub here, but from last on the grid all the way up to the podium places is not bad going, if I do say so myself there. Like I said, I think in real life we would have heard a couple of Valtteri, it's James calls in these last few laps there, and Bottas would have probably had to let us by, try and soften the blow to Verstappen in the championship battle. But obviously no team orders on F1 2021, the game, as much as maybe some would like to see it, especially my team would be quite handy in a few instances there. But definitely battle of the day between myself and Sergio Perez. They really tried to squeeze me towards the wall, but having absolutely none of it that time round there, and knew we could try and muscle our way past the Red Bull. Knew that would probably be our best shot of the Grand Prix as well, to make sure we got out of the DRS range of him as well, because that Red Bull is no slouch down the straights with all the new patches applied to the game as well. As we head into the final sector here at Kota, it's 5 race victories for Lewis Hamilton at this track, and there's only ever been 3 other winners: Valtteri Bottas, Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Räikkönen there, and it looks like a 4th is going to be added to the club there. Max Verstappen, he's finished 3rd and 2nd here before, but finally this weekend he's going to stand on the top of the rostrum there as we head through the final couple of turns. Verstappen wins the US Grand Prix to extend his World Championship lead. Bottas comes through for P2, but from the back of the grid, Lewis Hamilton P3. I think we'd be pretty happy with that.
Great work. Well done. We're really happy with the podium here.
That's it then for another magnificent United States Grand Prix, and they've hung on to take a sublime victory here today. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a drive with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Well, for me it's got to be Lewis Hamilton. The multiple world champion may be the boring choice at this point, but you can't argue that he's a driver deserving of his reputation.
Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, there we are then, the final results from the US Grand Prix. Max Verstappen, pole position, fastest lap, race victory, 26 points, a further 11 ahead of Lewis Hamilton at this stage of the campaign there. Bottas P2, yeah, with Hamilton rounding out the podium there, finishing ahead of Sergio Perez. McLaren's Lando Norris in 5th, ahead of, not technically homeboy Daniel Ricciardo, but likes to believe this is his home as well. They're in P6. Charles Leclerc, Gasly, Alonso and Ocon round out the top 10 there. Alpine, I'm sure, yeah, pretty happy with a double points haul at the end of the day. Only Carlos Sainz actually must have fallen off on the final lap of the Grand Prix there. Missed that one in all of the commotion there. Haas in their home race, 18th and 19th. Yeah, not optimistic it's going to be much better than that this weekend nonetheless there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like. Get yourself subscribed as well. And yeah, we'll be back very, very soon with more F1 2021 content. My team heads to Imola tomorrow. You guys do not want to miss that. A massive thank you for the continued support from all our channel members. If you want to be featured in these end clips, make sure you click the join button down below. But yeah, once again, a massive thank you to the Travesty, Patrick, Chuan, David, Ben, Aiden, F. Stathios, Cato, Sean, Johnny, McBlam, and Mighty Spork for becoming channel members. The support is really, really appreciated.